Hey everybody, I have some great news.
What's the news?
The news is if you call the phone number 918-268-6337, you can leave us a voicemail and get on the show.
Yeah.
Ask us to talk about something, give us your opinion, say a funny comment, whatever you want. We'll play it on the show if it's appropriate. So do that and then leave us a review on Apple Podcasts for 5 stars. And you know what I'll do, Joe, for you personally?
What are you going to do for me?
I'll do what those people at the bank used to do for me as a kid when I was in the passenger seat. I'll put a sucker in the tube.
What does that mean?
You figured out. Welcome back to Not Qualified. This week we're doing something a little different. What are we doing, Joe?
We're going to be talking about tunes.
You thought we were talking about movies, you idiot.
For you
absolute buffoon.
Why do you listen to us?
Gosh, you're so dumb. No, we're talking about music this week. Paul Martin. We're talking about music. Sorry. I just like to throw in random names of people we know probably listen.
Yeah. Hey, Paul.
Hey, Paul. Hope you're doing well. You're awesome. You're a cool guy.
You're probably going to hear this when I'm
you're
not
probably
here in town. So, hey, it's good to see you through your ears.
Well, that's not seeing, Joe. There's a word for that. I don't remember it. All right, so we're talking about music this week, actually. So we typically focus on movies, but we're kind of just a catch-all pop culture thing.
Yeah,
for
we've talked about TV shows and video games.
Yeah, so
maybe a little bit.
We're going to talk about some of our favorite bands. We're actually both musicians. I release music. We play together all the time. We do gigs together. We've played for years. So music is a big part of both of our lives. And we have lots of music that has formed us that we love. And I think we're going to talk about a little bit of that today.
Yeah. I think we could start off just talking about some of the music that we grew up listening to, just music we think is objectively good music that helped shape some of the music today, some of the music that we listen, the reason we listen to music that we like today, just in general. I'll throw one out there. Patsy Cline.
Okay.
Yeah, I grew up listening to Patsy Cline. My mom loves Patsy Cline, so I just grew up hearing her. So every time I hear her, I think of my mom. And
oh, that's sweet.
Yeah, very sweet. Hey, Mom. I don't think she listens. I doubt she listens to us.
I'll throw it out there.
Okay.
My favorite band of all time is a little band called Falling Rocks.
Wow.
It's a joke.
If you guys want a t-shirt, hit us up.
Hit us up. I'm still in the hole on those.
There's still some you never gave out.
I know. We have those t-shirts ever. Thank you. Shout out to Dylan Brown. Thanks for helping us screen print those, by the way. We still have them. Anyway, so speaking of music, I'll throw one out there. Music I grew up on. It's funny because my favorite band of all time has been the same pretty much my whole life.
Yeah.
And every once in a while, I'll think I'm going to change it. And I'll think, I love this band so much, it's going to knock off the top spot.
Yeah.
And then I'll go back and listen to this band and just one album, and I'll think, no, there's nothing that can top this, because it's funny because with music, because it's so completely subjective, your standard for what's good is just your standard. There's almost no objective. I mean, there are things that objectively have a certain result, right? Like in music theory, right? Yeah. If I go from a major 4 to a minor 4 and then resolve to the 1, it's going to sound sentimental because that's what we're programmed to feel in Western music. But that's not objective. That's still just a subjective feeling.
Yeah.
And that's how music is. So when there's a band that sets the standard for what you even like in music, you obviously cannot top that because they set the standard.
Yeah.
And for me, that band's ELO. Electric Light Orchestra. If I go back and listen to Out of the Blue or Discovery or Face the Music, any of those albums, I immediately think, there's nothing else that can ever top this. So that's probably the biggest influence on my music taste. My dad played ELO growing up. He had the 2-disc set of ELO's greatest hits. It was like the purple and green CDs, and I listened to those nonstop.
I have a playlist on Spotify specifically for this.
Oh.
It's called Tribute, brought to you by Mazda, because these are all the bands I listened to in my mom's Mazda Tribute growing up.
Oh, nice.
So I was like, title works out. So I have Norman Greenbaum. Spirit in the Sky was my favorite song for a really long time.
Yeah.
I don't know what's in that place now. Probably State Line, I think, just by default. Drift Away, Dobby Gray.
Yep, that's a good one.
Fleetwood Mac. My mom has a very eclectic music taste, so that's where I get that from. Nirvana, Alice in Chains, Otis Redding, Johnny Lang, Collective Soul, Bob Seger, Tom Petty, Poison, Etta James, Maroon 5, and then she loves country music, so I have a lot of country music on here as well. But
yeah,
I just grew up with such
that's pretty eclectic. Yeah, mine is the same too, although mine's a little less eclectic than yours. I have a lot of like early 2000s weird stuff that I liked when I was growing up, but most of my music taste is late 70s, early 80s, like late 70s, especially soft rock, yacht rock, yes. Then some mid 70s prog rock. That's the basis of my music taste. Yeah. And then it extends into the 80s with stuff like Tears for Fears, stuff like that. But I'll say I have a playlist on Spotify called The Greatest Songs of All Time. And number one, my favorite song of all time, is actually not by a band at all, or even a human. It's by a frog, and it's Rainbow Connection. Yeah. From the Muppet movie, the 1979 Muppet movie. We should do an episode on that movie, by the way, sometime. Yeah. But that song, I mean, the soundtrack to that movie had a huge influence on my music taste as well. It was composed by Paul Williams, who also composed a lot of the Carpenters and early 70s stuff like that. And anyway, so that's a huge part of it. And then, of course, ELO, the Beach Boys, Bread. Bread is a huge one for me. Stephen Bishop and Jim Croce, the Eagles, Supertramp, Tears for Fears, people like that, James Taylor, John Denver. That's the basis bed of my music taste. And then I tend to build on more modern stuff based on how it fits in with that. So like, not intentionally, but just that's what I like. That's what my ears prick up at, is stuff that sounds like yacht rock from the 70s. So,
and this is something we've talked about, and something I've noticed about myself, and something that Austin mentioned the other day, is we all have really wide music tastes.
Yeah.
And I think the older we get, the more music we listen to, old and new, it keeps growing. But we all have our little niche. We all have this is what you kind of lean towards.
This is the Joe music. Or this is the Zephyr music.
And my music is definitely modern music that sounds like older music.
Yes, like Dr. Dog.
And The Dip.
Yep.
Or funk.
Funk. Yeah. Mine, I definitely lean singer-songwriter, but it changes a little. So some modern artists that I love, speaking of modern music that sounds like older music, Young Gun Silver Fox is probably my favorite modern band that's still producing music. And they intentionally make music that sounds like late 70s yacht rock, which is my favorite genre. So there's that. And then people like Stephen Day. If you don't know Stephen Day, go listen to Stephen Day. Shout out to my boy Steve. He's like one of the best songwriters that I listen to currently. And then Brook and the Bluff is really good. Yep. Hippocampus, of course. If you're in your 20s, you have to like Hippocampus.
Yeah. There's
Joan is great.
There's a certain group of artists that if you are our age, or you're early to mid 20s, you have to listen to.
Hippocampus, Band Camino, Joan,
Valley,
yeah.
Vacation
Manor,
Colony House,
yeah.
Ben Rector.
In fact, we should have Austin on this episode. He's in the other room.
You have to listen to that music, but it's all really good music. I love all those bands.
Yep.
And I think all the people you just listed, I love all those bands. The people I listen to actively every week. I think they're fantastic. Like I was saying, a lot of the music I listen to sounds like old music. So my favorite band of all time, this happened a couple of years ago. It used to just jump back and forth. It used to be like CCR and Fleetwood Mac and just random. It would just kind of jump around a little bit. And then I started listening to The Dip.
Yep.
And over the course of like a year, I went, I can listen to every one of their songs on repeat. And I've been doing it for like 4 years.
I also really like The Dip. I had heard State Line, but then you introduced me to the rest of their stuff. we've seen them live twice.
Yes.
And the first time we saw them was in Kansas City, Missouri. And that is my favorite concert I've ever been to.
I thought that was so much fun.
Like it wasn't necessarily like you like them a lot more than I do. I still like them a lot, but like you like them more than I do. And there's other bands that I like more that I've seen and love their concerts, but I have never had as much fun at a concert as I had at that first Dip concert. It was just so fun.
I love Dr.
The
Dog.
Riot Room was such a fun place.
It's
a great venue.
Especially for smaller bands like that. I love Dr. Dog. Two of my favorite songs of all time are State Line by The Dip and Where'd All the Time Go by Dr. Dog.
Where'd all the time go?
California Honey Drops are fantastic.
Oh, yeah, they're the same vein. Super Doppler is another band in the same vein. Yep.
You mentioned them earlier, Young Gun
Silver Fox.
Fantastic.
Yeah, those are all bands that intentionally sound like past eras, and I love that.
I think it's fantastic.
As far as songwriters go, so I write a lot of songs, and there are 3 songwriters there's really 5 songwriters that stick out in my brain as being the most influential to me, that I think, like, man, that's what I want music to sound like. That's what I want my songs to sound like. And the number one by far for me is Ben Folds.
Yeah.
As far as just songwriting and style and production, Ben Folds is like the gold standard for me. I've grown up on Ben Folds. I can't get enough of them. And then my actual favorite songwriter of all time is Randy Newman. I don't think anyone else can write songs like with the same emotional content that Randy Newman can. He's incredible. And then the other songwriters on that list would be Chris Rice, Jeff Lynne, and I don't know who the 5th one would be as far as like an influence on me, but some other modern ones I like are Chris Trapper.
Did you say James Taylor?
James Taylor's up there. Oh, no, my number 5 is for sure Jim Croce.
Yeah.
Jim Croce more than James Taylor.
I think he's probably my favorite. If we're just talking songwriters, I think he'd probably be my favorite.
He's made me cry more than any other.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love Jim Croce. But then as far as other modern people I love Chris Trapper. I love No More Kings. If you've never listened to No More Kings, shout out to my boys Pete and Neil. You guys got to go listen to them. There's a lot of good stuff out there, but I tend to find it randomly. I stumble across it by happenstance, and it's never it's not like on the radio.
Yeah.
It's not even word of mouth usually. It's just like I find it by chance. Like it'll be in a TV show or it'll be
TV shows or video games.
Yeah.
They do a really good job of just introducing music.
Yeah.
YouTube algorithms.
Yeah.
Sometimes just throw it at you and they're like, hey, listen to this.
And they're better than
1,000 views.
Discover Weekly on Spotify is pretty good, but for me, it's back and forth. Some days it's great, sometimes it's awful.
Yeah.
All right, Joe, what is a song that you really don't like? It doesn't have to be your least favorite, just a song you don't like.
It's not that it's a bad song. I think objectively, we did talk about that already. Objectiveness doesn't really count.
No, it's subjective. Objectivity is subjective.
Fair enough. Objectively, I think it's a well-written song. But I could live the rest of my life a happy man if I never heard All I Want for Christmas Is You ever
That's
again.
So funny because I actually really like that song, but I don't like the Mariah Carey version.
Her version is the one I don't want to hear.
Yeah.
Ever again. I'd rather shoot my kneecaps out.
Well, that's intense. I can do that for you. Tell you what, here's a song that I hate.
Can you guarantee I'll never hear it again?
No.
I'll take that.
No, I can't. A song that I hate. And I can't tell you why, Joe. Well, I can't. I just hate it. Okay.
I think I know what you're going to say.
I don't know if you do because I like this artist. Okay.
Oh, never mind.
I actually like the artist. A lot of her stuff is good, but I hate the song "Firework" by Katy Perry.
Yeah.
I hate it. I just cannot stand it.
I thought you were going to say "Tainted Love."
Oh, I also hate "Tainted Love."
I don't like sunglasses at night.
I mean, yeah, sure. Nobody would have ever thought about that song again if you hadn't mentioned it. So thanks for that.
Hey, you're welcome, Paul.
Yeah, Paul's gonna know it. I don't like. I don't like "Tainted Love." I'm sorry. Okay,
it's funny. It's all right. No qualms.
I have qualms. What's another one that's funny that I hate? That's just like a weird song to hate.
Okay,
there's one I thought of today.
Here's a song that I'm not crazy about.
Okay.
I'm not. I dislike it more than I like it.
Okay.
and I know you're gonna disagree.
Okay.
It's Chicken Fried.
Oh, I do disagree. It's on my guilty pleasures playlist. It's one of those songs that I don't know what it is. I don't know if it reminds me of something specific, but that's a bop for me.
And again, we have eclectic music taste. I like a lot of country from all the eras of country.
Forever and ever, amen. Yeah, I like a lot of country, but not really anything past Randy Travis, I would say.
Yeah. I love Josh Turner.
I do love Josh
and Joshua Lee Turner.
And both of them, they're very different. Oh, that's the one I forgot to mention. I just posted about him the other day because Joshua Lee Turner's new album, Public Life, it's not that new, it's last year, I think is the best album of the last decade. I love that album.
I think it's fantastic.
Like, I don't know. I've listened to it on repeat since it came out. So there's a shout out. If you don't listen to anything else from this episode, well, forget you.
Go listen to him.
Yeah, go listen to Public Life.
Talented.
Joshua Lee Turner, the whole album.
Yeah, so there's us talking about music. I don't know that we have. Else?
No, I don't think I do. I'm honestly just interested to see how well this episode performs, like compared to our other stuff. Are people if people are interested to hear us talk about music, or if they just want us to stay in our lane and stick to music?
I would also like to say that this is an exception. This is not like
this is not going to happen very often.
Out, we're just
we're testing the waters,
color outside the lines a little bit.
Yeah, live a little.
Yeah,
it's our podcast. Shut up.
Yeah. So we're going to do something right now in preparation for the next
that's
episode.
right.
We are going to pull up IMDb's top 100 movies of all time.
Yes. We're going to pick a random number between 1 and 100.
Yes.
And we're going to review that movie next time.
We're going to watch it and review it. If it's something we've already seen, we'll skip it. We'll just re-roll. But feel free to watch it along with us, leave a review, leave a voicemail.
Yeah. And so that's what I think can be really fun. So whatever movie we end up picking within the random number generator, watch it with us and then call into the number 918-268-6337 and tell us what you think of it, and we'll respond to your opinions on the show. Okay, so whatever movie we pick, watch it along with us before the next episode comes out, and then call and leave your opinions.
Yeah, so if you have a movie night coming up and you feel for whatever reason that we're going to dictate that, here you go. All right.
Well, Joe, I have the list pulled up. Pick a number between 1 and 100.
I pick number 90.
Wow, okay. Number 90 is
Google.
M.
We're watching M.
It came out in 1931.
All right, we might. Well,
it's an hour and a half. Directed by Fritz Lang. When the police in a German city are unable to catch a child murderer, other criminals join in the manhunt. Okay, so it's called M, just a letter M.
Do we want to re-roll?
Let's re-roll and see what we get. But I'm honestly okay with sticking with M if we want.
78. Those are really high rolls.
78 is Avengers Endgame. I think we've seen that.
Reroll 43.
43. 43 is The Departed. I've seen that.
Yep, already seen it. 78.
78. We just rolled that.
Was that?
That was Endgame. 62. Okay, all right. The Shining. We've seen that. All right, do we want to stick with M?
No, hold on. 45.
45, okay. Here we go. Grave of the Fireflies, 1988.
That's something I've been wanting to watch for a really long time.
It's an animated movie. Looks like it's not an anime, is it? Asayo Takahata.
Bless you.
All right, came out in 1988. Looks like an animated movie. This is what we're watching. Don't watch M. If you already started M, I'm so sorry. But you can still call us and leave your opinion.
Yeah, and also props to you for being that fast.
Yes, but yeah, true. What we're going to watch next week is Grave of the Fireflies. That'll be the next episode, or an episode here in the next few. So watch it along with us. Leave us or call us and tell us what you thought at 918-268-6337, and we'll play your voicemail on the show. So yeah, anything else, Joe?
No, but I do think that if you do enjoy music, then check out the sweet outro music that we have queued up for you.
Here it is.